All right, here we are, round two, round two. So I'm gonna continue showing stuff that I just got back from my collection that my roommate brought up for me. All right, so moving on here. This is a fun one. I don't know who is fans of this guy, but he definitely brings something interesting to the table, and those who are easily offended, probably wouldn't like him, but that, of course, is Mr. G. Allin. um, this is his album Freaks, Faggots, Drunk. I even have a hard time saying it because I hate that word right there, but whatever. But Freaks, Faggots, Drunks, and Junkies. And if you haven't heard this album, it's it's good. I mean, it's hard hitting punk rock, and it is what it is, and I love it. And I love there's so many quotable things on here. It says right there. It says, "Play loud and kill yourself, thanks to." Wait, what does it say? No, it's play loud and kill yourself, thanks to no fucking buddy but me. And then it says GG. So he was definitely an interesting guy. I don't know if you know a lot about him, but this also says, "Not for sale to any person under the age of 18." So very graphic lyrics. Crude subject matter. Here, I'll read you some of the song names. Dope Money, Be My Fucking Whore, Suck My Ass, It Smells. There's just like Sleeping in My Piss. There's so many song names just like that. I Wanna Kill You. That's a classic. But the funny thing about it is they are good songs, especially musically, because I mean, if you like punk rock, I mean, that's what it is, and really entertaining to listen to, but definitely not something to take seriously, but really, really, really fun music. But anyway, he really took that whole act to a whole new level because, he would. I never got to see him live or anything, but from the stories I've heard of people who have seen him and some of the live footage I've seen, he'd get completely naked and cut himself and bleed and vomit and, you know, defecate and urinate and pretty much anything, any nasty thing you can think of, he'd do on stage. It's the whole shock value thing. But anyway, this is a good record, and it's the only G.G. Allin I own, and I enjoy it. So there we are. All right, up next is "Hot Buttered Soul" by Mr. Isaac Hayes. Of course, he's dead now too. I own a lot of dead people's albums, that's for sure. But this is a great, 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 great soul and R&B album. If you haven't heard it, it's a classic. I mean, it's so groovy. Like that's the only way to describe it. It's so sexy and groovy. So if you haven't heard this, go listen to it now. I mean, it's great. There's so many good songs. The whole thing, and it's relatively short, but the songs are long, and it's just great. I mean, it grooves all the way through. So if that's the kind of stuff you're into, definitely check that out. That's a classic in that genre for sure. All right, up next is "Strange Days" by The Doors, their second album, second LP. And it's cool because like from far away, it doesn't even look like you could even tell it's a Doors album, but up close there it says "Strange Days," and there's a poster of the band doing their signature like dark poses there in the background where you can see like half of each one of their faces. But this and Morrison Hotel are probably my favorite Doors albums. It's incredible. I mean, all the way through, it's great. When the music's over, ends the album, closes it out, and that's probably the Doors' best song, if you ask me. So, just my opinion, but I think it's incredible. It's great. But yeah, really cool album art, just weird. You got a mime there, you got midget, and this bodybuilder guy. I don't know, pretty weird stuff, but great album nonetheless. So I'm sure you've all heard it, and it's a classic. Should be part of any serious vinyl collection. All right, up next, one of my favorite bands, and one of their best albums, probably their best album if you ask me, and that is "Goat" by the Jesus Lizard. I love, 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 love this band. I love these guys so much. I mean, such a good album. I mean, if you haven't heard this, then you need to get on it. But then comes Dudley, opens the album, and it's the first track, and that's one of the best album openers ever. It's just like the way it starts off with the the bass kicks in and the drums kick in. It's just like, oh, it gets you pumped. I mean, that's like a song that if you ever looking to just get pumped, just put that on and it'll get you going for sure. So, really, really, really good album. Just simple album art, you know. It's a topless woman with cool red lights bouncing off her body, and just big lettering. Pretty simple and great album all the way through. If you haven't heard that, you should check it out for sure. All right, I showed some of my Bob Dylan, but here's a couple more, and I have more that aren't with me still. I have a lot of Bob Dylan, so I'll get to all those when I get everything together. But it's John Wesley Harding, classic album, I think. Thing I like about it is, well, of course, it's got the original All Along the Watchtower, but it's kind of different from a lot of his other stuff because there's no hooks, really. I mean, there's some hooks, but it's like, for the most part, most of these songs are just kind of like one thought all the way through. It's not really like, there's the choruses, there's no like repetitive choruses or things like that, which I thought was kind of interesting because, you know, I mean, he was hugely popular at this time, and it's probably just because he's Bob Dylan, he's able to do something like that. But it seems like if someone tried to do something like that, they would lose all their credibility or something, especially being a mainstream artist such as him. But yeah, a really, really good album, and I like it a lot. And it's kind of experimental, and it's, you know, kind of country, and it's kind of rocking here during parts, and, you know, kind of bluesy at parts. It's like it runs the gambit. It's kind of everything, but still signature Bob Dylan folk sound at the same time. So yeah, really good album, and I'm sure all of you have heard it. All right, this is cool. I found this online. Oh, this should be in my new pile, so I guess I'll show that in the other video. I accidentally mixed them up. So let me finish these first. All right, up next is At Folsom Prison by Johnny Cash. Another classic live album. You know, of course, he recorded it at Folsom Prison, California. And it starts with Folsom Prison Blues, the song. You know, took a shot of cocaine. Yeah, but this is a classic record. And, you know, I'm sure you've all heard it, and it's great. I love the album cover so much. It's so effective. It's like the title, the track list, and just, you know, his mug with sweat dripping down his sideburns. So cool. I mean, and the idea that he had to play at the prison, I thought that was genius. I mean, you never have heard of anybody really doing that, especially before this. And I can't really think of anyone doing that afterwards that I can think of, except for the movie Airheads. But but anyway, really, really cool. And he actually recorded an album at San Quentin, too, so he did it twice. And maybe even more times, for all I know. I'm not sure. But yeah, great album. Great, great stuff. All right, I got time for one more, I guess. And this is one of my favorite records that I own because it's in damn near perfect condition. And it's The Genius of Ray Charles. And, of course, if you don't know anything about Ray Charles, this is his early stuff. He was still really young at this point. But really, really, really good shit. And to me, this is my favorite Ray Charles album to listen to. Because, I mean, every song is, like, so catchy and just kind of hooks you, for me at least. And another great thing about this album is Tom Dowd, which I've mentioned in some of my other videos, engineered it, and he's one of my heroes. Him and Neil Young are, like, my two heroes. Like, they're up there at the top. But it's in really, really good condition, and that's kind of the coolest thing about this copy of the album. It's damn near in perfect condition, and it's old. But, yeah, great album. Atlantic Records, you know, if you haven't heard this, check it out, because Ray Charles was the man. And also, I watched Ray the other day, and I forgot how great that movie was, and how, what a good job Jamie Foxx actually did. He looks just like him and sounds just like him, and it tells the story, you know, pretty accurately. The drugs aren't real glamorized, and it's a true portrayal. So if you haven't seen that, also go check that out. Huge fan of Ray Charles. Great guy. Great musician. All right, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this one up and start the next video here in a second. All right, thanks again.